Good morning, and welcome to the Cyber Smart Morning News Update. With the always evolving world of cyber threats and defense, you need a source you can trust. FBI retired Special Agent Darren Mott guides you through today's intricate cyber landscape and brings you the latest headlines and insights and what it means to you. Let's dive into today's cyber news.
Good morning, friends. It is Wednesday, August 7th, 2024. This is the Cyber Smart Morning News Update. I'm your host, retired FBI Supervisory Special Agent Darren Mott, and also author of the book, Get Cyber Smart, a user-friendly guide to protecting your family, your business, and yourself online, available at Amazon. So since it's Wednesday, I tend to focus on fewer articles and try to focus more on what they're saying. So I got 5 of them for you today. One's going to be really quick because it's just me laughing at the headline and the subject of the headline. Let's get to this first one. Paris Olympic ransomware attack hits famed Grand Palais venue. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing Palais. It's probably pronounced somewhere else, but I can't speak French. This is from cybernews.com. Stephanie Schappert reporting. The historic Grand Palais Museum complex, one of the sporting venues for the Paris Olympic Games, has been targeted by ransomware crooks. French cyber police, I didn't know there was such a thing, revealed on Tuesday that the latest attack and what it revealed this on Tuesday and what it means for the Paris Games. Police say the cyber criminals had targeted the site's central computer systems, but the attack has not led to any type of disruptions in the scheduled competitions taking place at the complex. The systems targeted are used to centralize financial data for brands located at the various institutions, a police source told the Paris-based news outlet Agency France Presse, or AFP, on Tuesday morning. That was yesterday. The attack, which took place over the weekend on Saturday night, was among 40 other museums hit by the unnamed organized gang who threatened to release the financial data if a ransom demand was not paid within 48 hours. France's National Information Systems Security Agency has stated that it was alerted to the incident and that the criminal investigation has been open, providing no other details. Well, the point here being, obviously, is to understand that when there's big events like the Olympics, these things are going to happen. But fortunately, it appears that the French are prepared for this. It says that properly known as the Grand Palais des Champs-Élysées and located in the 8th arrondissement near the River Seine. The exhibition hall has hosted several Olympic events, including fencing and taekwondo. The museum organization, which operates the Grand Palais, has managed 36 other smaller museums in the French capital. Jesus, there's that many museums in the French capital? That's crazy. And released a statement verifying that all are operating as normal and open for business, or for the public. The organization, known as the Réunion des Musées Naturels Grand Palais, stated that preliminary investigations show no data was exfiltrated by the attackers. Now, it'll be interesting to see if that's the case. Hopefully that is the case. But the fact that they are demanding ransomware means there may be some that was taken. And the problem is we're never going to find out anything, right? Once the Olympics are over, this will be completely forgotten. But these attackers will move on to other events as they come up, as the NFL season comes up, as NCAA football starts to hit. Then you'll start to see attacks against schools start to ramp up as well. So expect more of the same and probably no resolution on much of it. CyberNews.com, Gintaras Radoaskis reporting, TikTok to remove feature deemed addictive by the EU. TikTok has confirmed it's removing a controversial rewards program for users in the European Union after its regulators said it was addictive and could harm young people. Okay, well, thumbs up to them. The rewards program is featured on TikTok Lite, an app launched in 2018 that uses less data than the original platform, essentially a reward screen time. Points are offered for adult users for liking posts, watching videos, and inviting friends over. Like, we need that kind of thing. Users can then use the collected points for Amazon vouchers and TikTok coins for tipping other people. This is obviously an incentive to stay on the platform as long as possible. So it's one more way that China's figured out to keep people on their platform. It costs them really nothing. And it allows them to capture much more data. But the European Union doesn't like it one bit. In fact, already at the beginning of the year, the European Union said TikTok needs to explain its tasks and rewards feature and its compliance with the EU's Digital Services Act. So because of that, TikTok, or rather ByteDance, the Chinese company that owns the platform, is going to remove the program for EU countries. Now, why don't they remove it for everyone if it's got this problem? Well, because other entities don't have this requirement that the EU does. TikTok wants to remain in the EU. And that's why they're doing it. So, again, anything that kind of put the screws to TikTok, I'm all for it. So, thumbs up to the European Union for taking a stand. Now, the better stand would be to eliminate it altogether, but I think you all know my stance on all of that. Cyberscoop.com. This is from the, oh my God, what is the government trying to do now file. This is Cynthia Brumfeld reporting. Intelligence bill would elevate ransomware to a terrorist threat. Amid a rash of ransomware attacks, the Senate Intelligence Committee wants to treat the phenomenon like terrorism. Okay, if that's the case, please tell me what political agenda it's trying to advance. But all right, let's read the article and have some fun. When the Senate Intelligence Committee earlier this summer advanced its annual measure to authorize the work of the U.S. intelligence community, it also advanced a controversial proposal to deal with ransomware, treating it like terrorism. Sponsored by Committee Chairman Mark Warner, Democrat of Virginia, the bill contains novel language regarding ransomware that seeks to address increasingly rampant and damaging ransomware attacks by calling out ransomware gangs by name, and branding them as hostile foreign cyber actors, designating nations that harbor ransomware actors as state sponsors of ransomware, and slapping such states with sanctions. Okay, thumbs up to that. And granting the U.S. intelligence community greater legal authority to go after ransomware actors by elevating ransomware to the level of a national intelligence priority. Well, that is probably not a necessarily bad idea in theory. Whether you can do much with it is another question. If these entities, if these individuals or these organizations are in North Korea, China, Russia, you're not going to get them out unless they stupidly travel somewhere else. And then you're going to have prisoner swaps like we saw last week. So Russia's just going to abscond with a bunch of U.S. citizens that are in Russia who are doing nothing other than enjoying the Russian culture, and then trade them for these guys once they're arrested. But I digress, and I'm trying to guess into the future. But it does say in this article, although the U.S. Justice Department has said in the past it's elevating investigations of ransomware attacks to a similar priority as terrorism, the Senate Intelligence Committee's proposal, if passed into law, would be the first U.S. law to directly link ransomware to terrorism. The problem's going to be here. So you're going to call it ransomware gangs by name. You know what they're going to do? They're going to change their name. So it's going to have limited impact. I mean, unless you can do attribution to the individuals that are running it in the gang, and then you can tag it to them versus the gang name, because gang names can change, as they often do, this will have limited impact. Now, I would say that you can say, okay, well then, because a lot of these hackers that do ransomware are, especially in North Korea, are the state intelligence agency itself. So you don't really have to label that terrorism, because it's not. It's intelligence services action, which the intelligence services should already go after. Here's a quote from a former U.S. government counterterrorism expert whose last name I can't pronounce. I won't say it. But bottom line, the bill represents an acknowledgement of the economic damage that ransomware is doing to its U.S. and its allies. Agreed. At the same time, it calls out that there are nation states in the world, North Korea in particular, hey, I said that, who are making significant chunks of their GDP off being a state sponsor of ransomware. Yeah, why call them terrorism then? You don't have to say that. You can say it's the government doing it. So do what you have from an intelligence perspective to go against it. But okay. The Intelligence Committee's proposal finds, quote, that foreign ransomware organizations and foreign affiliates associated with them constitute hostile foreign cyber actors. No kidding. That covered nations abet and benefit from the activities of the actors. No kidding. And that such actors should be treated as hostile foreign cyber actors by the United States. Citing a list of 18 ransomware gangs from dark side to black basta, who will all change their names in the next 6 months, and they will no longer exist as they currently known. So if you're listing that in the bill will be useless because those things don't longer exist. But okay, whatever. I mean, these are politicians trying to understand cyber stuff and do the cyber stuff. Do the cyber. They're trying to do cyber. And thumbs up for giving it a shot, right? But this is going to go a lot of nowhere and do a lot of nothing unless you are going to give authorities to the intelligence community, and particularly the DoD and what they do in cyber, to be an aggressive, offensive counter cyber activity, or do those offensive actions against these entities. You can figure out where their infrastructure is and go bomb it, digitally bomb it. I don't mean bomb the building with actual bombs. I mean digitally bomb it and destroy their information. The problem you get into is if they've stolen information from the victims, and you are also destroying that information which the victims may then need. So that's not good either. So it's kind of a tricky situation to deal with here. And I agree, you have to do something to deal with this. I think personally, and I'm not I've stolen this from someone who's told me this at a conference, that we need to entice, or we need to give incentives to organizations to do better cyber, right? To have better cybersecurity hygiene, to do the better things so they don't become victims, raise awareness, do all that kind of stuff. But again, I mean, you can't give away the information, so I don't know if you can make people want to do it. So that's the problem. It's an interesting article. I'm going to post more on LinkedIn on this and discuss it a little more in my newsletter on Friday. And that's another my newsletter, cyberguy.substack.com. You can check out Get Cyber Smart Behind the Screens, my weekly newsletter that gives you the same kind of quality cyber analysis and humor that you tend to get here. All right, believingcomputer.com, Lawrence Abrams. Interpol recovers over 40 million stolen in business email compromise attack. Yay, thumbs up to Interpol. And this is a good thing. A global stop payment mechanism created by Interpol successfully recovered over $40 million that were stolen in a business email compromise attack on a company in Singapore. Interpol says it's the largest recovery of funds stolen through a BEC scam. And then they kind of talk about BEC is. I don't need to get into that. The 2023 FBI IC3 report says that they received 21,489 complaints with $2.9 billion in reported losses due to business email compromise in 2023. You can assume that that's at least double the number. There should be double the number of victims and probably double the number of losses. Companies just are afraid to report it. According to the announcement by Interpol, a commodity firm based in Singapore fell victim to a business email compromise attack after receiving what they thought was an email from a supplier. My God, what are you paying that supplier? Holy crap, actually ended up being $42.3 million to an attacker-controlled bank account, only to realize it had fallen for attack. So there's a little more to this article if you want to read it, Lawrence Abrams' article in Bleeping Computer. But again, thumbs up to Interpol for recovering that amount of money. It does say at the bottom here that iGrip, which is the Interpol group or whatever, has used the operation to recover millions of dollars from stolen actors, and since its launch in 2022, it's recovered $500 million stolen through fraud and cybercrime. So thumbs up to Interpol. Well done. Keep on keeping on. Lastly, Wired.com, Lily Hay Newman, a new plan to break the cycle of destructive critical infrastructure hacks. As digital threats against U.S. water, food, healthcare, and other vital sectors loom large, a new project called Undisruptible 27 aims to help fix cybersecurity weaknesses where other efforts have failed. This is a lengthy article. Obviously, I'm not going to be, well, it's not that lengthy, but I'm not going to be able to get through all of it, but let's kind of hit the main gist here. Hopefully she gets to most of it at the beginning because it's a TLDR kind of thing. An endless parade of data breaches, brutally disruptive ransomware attacks, and crippling IT outages have somehow become the norm around the world. Somehow. And in spite of escalating impacts to critical infrastructure and daily life, progress has been intermittent and often fleeting. That's got to give. At the B-Sides Las Vegas Security Conference this week, a longtime critical infrastructure security researcher is launching a project to communicate with utility operators, municipalities, and regular people, in creating ways about both urgency and optimism about protecting critical infrastructure now. Okay, let's see a little bit more about this. Dubbed Undisruptible 27, the project will start as a pilot with a $700,000 grant for the first year through Craig Newmark Philanthropy's Cyber Civil Defense Coalition. Led by Josh Corman, who was chief strategist for the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency's COVID task force, in collaboration with the Institute for Security and Technology, IST, the project will focus on the critical interdependence of food, water, emergency medical care, and power as the backbone of human safety. Blah, blah, blah. What's it say he's going to do? Let's see if it even says. The budgets of the merge, having worked on embedded device security and critical infrastructure defense for years, including the decades-old grassroots computer security and human safety initiative he founded, known as I Am the Calvary. Corman says it felt significant that some national intelligence officials were warning Congress of such. Okay, yeah, but what are you doing? That's my question. Okay, here we go. Let's say if this answers it. Undisruptible 27 will focus on interacting with communities who aren't reached by Washington, D.C. policy discussions and information sharing and analysis centers, which are meant to, okay, but how do you do it? Tell me how you're doing it, man. Come on. I'll be honest with you. This article does not really say how he's going to do it. So it is launching this week for visibility among attendees at B-Sides as well as other conferences. But again, what are you doing? Okay, let's see. We must prioritize the security, safety, and resilience of critical infrastructure, including water, health facilities, care facilities, and utilities. Again, how are you doing it? So if someone else wants to read this, I kind of just whipped through the whole thing, looking at it real quick. It doesn't say how they're doing it, other than using a lot of buzzwords. All right, so I hope it works. We'll see. Otherwise, this guy's making $700,000. Thumbs up to him and whatever. All right, so with that, all the articles in this podcast are listed in the show notes if you would like to review it. I appreciate you taking the time to download, share the information, spread the knowledge, because we know that if knowledge is knowledge is protection, and if we can understand the threats targeting us, we can assess our risk, proceed wisely. Thanks again for listening, downloading, what have you. Have a great rest of your week. We'll be back again on Friday.
Cyber Smart Morning News is written and produced by Cyber Guy Productions. Feel free to email thoughts, comments, or suggestions to Darren at thecyberguy.com or follow Darren on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/DarrenMott. Thanks for listening.